Hello and welcome, class. Today we are going to look at our 18th lesson, and we are going to deal with market research. Now, previously we have been discussing about market segments or market segmentation, where I would say it's whereby a business tries and subdivides a market based on similar characteristics. Now we said you can segment a market based on age, right? So you want to produce or supply a commodity that is only consumed by the children, right? So you're going to segment it. Out of 200,000 people in the region, how many are children? That is segmentation. You can also segment a market according to social economic groups. So here you'll be grouping people according to how much they are paid. Again, you know very well that for any business, your sales are what is important. How much are you going to sell? And saving is going to depend on demand. Demand is going to depend on the levels of income the consumers have. So you have to look at, for example, if you are looking at situation like in Mombasa, right? You want to sell motor vehicles. Which is your target group? Motor vehicles don't cost $2,000. They cost way above $10,000. So where are these people found? They are found in Nyali, they are found in Chuda, they are found in Ganjoni, Zingo, and so on. So that is how you segment the group. I want to sell to the people who have some source of income. Where are they found? You can also segment your market based on location. This is where people live, right? People that live in wet areas will buy more waterproof clothing than those who live in dry areas. So again, you are looking at the locations. The people you are supplying to come from snowy areas, right? So you know they need very warm clothing. So people are going to need gloves, they're going to need muffins, scarves, and so forth, right? And they're dealing with people who come from very dry areas. They have no need for umbrellas and those clothes that are used during the wet seasons. You can also segment your market according to gender, right? So you look at the men and women. If you're selling hoodies for the males, then you have to look for a market that is predominantly male, so that you have business. You look at lifestyle, right? How many children a person has? Look at their religion, right? Their habits, and so forth. That is lifestyle. So if people have many children, right? You know what that entails. If people are Muslims, you know there are commodities they don't consume, like what? Alcohol. So you have to segment so as to know what you are going to supply. Now, next we look at benefits of market segmentation. When you subdivide your market into parts, what gains, what advantages, or what benefits do you get? Number one, the business aims all of its marketing efforts to the specific segment, making marketing costs efficient. So they're saying, if you do that, then you know my target group is this small. Then all the effort will go to that small area, the market, and which will reduce what? the cost of marketing. Number two, since less money is spent on marketing, more profit is realized. So we are saying the cost of marketing will go down because we spend money in the research, we segmented the market. Therefore, that means the business is going to make more profit because it has reduced expenses. Number three, identify a market segment. I will pick up again. Identify a market segment whose needs are not being fully met and fill the gap. Meaning what? Be the first in the market. Right? Identify a gap. Remember, say marketing is all about satisfying needs that customers have. Right? So you have to look for that gap. Right? Be the first to enter that market. It's another benefit. Now, when we look at market research, it starts by saying there are two types of businesses. When you're starting a business, you're either going to have one of the two. You're going to have a product-oriented business, or you're going to have a market-oriented business. What do I mean? Now, a business that focuses mainly on the product itself. Say to be a product-oriented business. For example, when Apple produces iPhone X, right? And they put a lot of emphasis on marketing that particular handset, right? They have looked at what the market needs, what the customers need. Then they have come up with features on that phone that are going to be appealing to the customers, right? They are doing what we call product-oriented business. They have come up with a product they believe is good for the market. On the other hand, if we have a business that focuses on market research, right, and finds out what the customer wants before developing a product, then we call this a market-oriented business. So, the same case of the iPhone X, for instance. So, the Apple, in their research team, could go to the market, right? Remember, there has been a lot of stiff competition between iOS and Android. So they go and ask, what do you want? What feature do you want us to upgrade, right? What do you think if we add onto iPhone maybe 8 is going to make our next phone to be superior? Then the customers or the consumers give their views, right? Then based on what they want, like they want a 512 GB random read-only memory, they want 8 GB RAM, they want 8 megapixel camera, all those features. So if it is the customers that give the views, then they develop a product. Then we will say that is a market-oriented business. You want to identify the needs of the market, then satisfy them. But if you just come up with a product, you believe it's good for the market, then you market it and push it to the market. That is a product-oriented business. Now, why is market research important? Why do we have to do research in the market? Now, market research is important because a business needs to know how many people will be willing to buy the product. This is to see how profitable it will be. So if you do research, you will have a rough idea how many people are likely to buy your product. Therefore, what is going to be the profit? What is market research? Market research basically refers to gathering information about consumers' needs or preferences in a market. Okay? This is gathering information about consumers' needs or preferences in a market. So we want to find out what do they want, what are their preferences. Now, there are two main types of market research. One, we have what we call primary research, which can also be called field research, and we have secondary research, which can be referred to as desk research. Now, I'm going to handle primary research, this part of the lesson, where I will say primary research refers to gathering of original data by talking directly with customers or the potential customers, talking to them directly and gathering information from them, right? So this is original data. That's why we call it primary research. You go to the field, talk to them, find out what they want, what they don't want, then you come up with a product, right? What does primary research include? You can do surveys or questionnaires, right? You can do interviews whereby you interview a person, you ask them questions, and you take their responses. That brings us to the end of our first part of the lesson.